Big news coming in from the Supreme Court. The top court has wrapped the Delhi government once again, and this time angry remarks coming in from the top court. Tell us what has been done. This is, remember, the top court had said on 10th November we'll check what have been the repercussions, the results of all the emergency measures that have been announced. Supreme Court has told the Delhi government, tell us what has been done. 33% of the pollution is still from the farm fire. The data is being sought for 6 years. Supreme Court has also asked, why is this data not being updated? We want results. We want a solution. Now, remember, Delhi government had also put forth an affidavit, and Delhi government has argued that we have ramped up measures and we have taken some emergency announcements also that have been made, emergency measures that the government has taken. But Supreme Court has asked a very important question. Supreme Court has asked, why was action taken only after an intervention by the top court, after which the smoke tower started to run and a lot of emergency measures were announced. Anisha Mathur, legal correspondent, joins on the latest on this. Anisha, go ahead. What exactly has the Supreme Court said? Because today was the day to ask for results.
Well, yes, Pooja. Clearly, the Supreme Court is not happy with the steps that have been taken. Of course, today Delhi is woken up to a much better air quality index with the rain gods taking pity on the national capital. But the Supreme Court is very clear on the questions that it is asking. First of all, why is it that year after year, for the last 6 years, the action is taken only after the Supreme Court or the NGT intervenes? Secondly, the question that has been asked is, why were the smog towers shut down? Now, on behalf of the DPCC, the senior advocate A.S. Nadkarni has now told the court that the smog tower was closed because it was the monsoon season. The smog towers cannot work during when it is raining, and that is why they were shut down. Now they have been made operational again. Court also asking for actual specific data on the various sources of pollutants. Now, what the court has been informed right now, the DPCC has put up data on their website, which states that about 25% to 33% of pollution is due to biomass burning. About 17% is because of coal and fly ash coming from the various thermal power plants and industries. About 16% is from vehicular pollution. But the court has once again said that as far as farm fires are concerned, Delhi is in a unique place. It suffers from pollution year after years. The sowing of rice has to be phased out in Punjab, and that is something even the last time the court had said rice, even despite being a staple crop, is not actually used in Punjab. It is a cash crop for Punjab, and that is something that the court had pointed out even the last time, that why is it that we are sowing something that we cannot sustain properly in this particular manner? Why is it that every year this happens? Now, the court is also looking at the reports that have come in from other states. The court has, however, noted that it seems that ground level implementation is zero unless and until the courts intervene in this particular matter. And remember, Pooja, it is not just the Supreme Court but also the NGT which is hearing the issue of air pollution, not just in Delhi but in NCR and across North India. These concerns are raised year after year, and while we're seeing better weather today...
The fact remains that it was after Supreme Court's intervention, a lot of emergency steps were taken, including, very surprisingly, within hours, the smog tower in Delhi that somehow started to work by the department officials, even though it had been locked up while we were all suffering and choking. Anisha, what happens here on? Is there a next hearing that is expected, or this is it on pollution, to which the Supreme Court had taken cognizance? And we did see results, but the farm fires refused to stop. So is there going to be a next hearing on this, or will we see the end of this today?
Going on. As I speak to you, my colleague Kanu Sharda is inside the Supreme Court sending us updates. The Supreme Court is taking note of the report that has been filed by the Delhi government, by the DPCC. Remember, this is not a hearing that takes place once a year. This is a hearing. Inevitably, we see Supreme Court taking up these matters in about September, October, and again in April when the weather undergoes another change. And every single year, we see the same questions being asked about parali burning, about vehicular pollution, about decongestion, about the safety and emission standards of thermal power plants, about biomass burning, open fires that are being burned, about construction dust, which is something that even the NGT just 2 days ago had asked, why is it that your GRAP 4 is when the situation goes completely out of hand? That is when you come out and start taking measures to stop construction dust. Why is this not an ongoing concern? And this is exactly what the courts have been asking continuously. This is also what we've been asking as the media, as people living in Delhi NCR, that why is it that only when the situation goes out of hand that the measures come in place? And the court once again pointing out that it is only last minute after court's intervention, otherwise ground implementation seems to be zero. And in fact, the court has also noted that questioned what about the odd and even scheme issue, the various concerns that have been raised by various parties when it comes to the odd even scheme. Senior advocate Meenakshi Arora, who's appearing in this matter, has said that odd even does not actually have an impact on pollution per se, but it does have an impact on decongesting the roads. And this is what the government is saying, that there is 13% less pollution after odd even scheme was implemented. This is from the studies done over the last couple of years, when at this time of the year the odd even scheme is implemented. It has a marginal effect on the air pollution in Delhi because there are fewer cars on the road, lesser
Anisha, tell me this. Was this
Delhi
primarily between Supreme Court and the Delhi government? Was there also Punjab government, Uttar Pradesh government, Haryana government that were also asked questions by the Supreme Court? Have they also said something?
Well, they will be saying something, Pooja. As I said, the hearing is ongoing right now. The Supreme Court is going state by state. First state to be taken, of course, is the national capital of Delhi. Right now, they're looking into the affidavit that was filed by the Delhi government and the DPCC, and they're looking into the question of the smog tar, decongestion, etc. The second point, of course, that will be raised is regarding Punjab and Haryana farm fires. Remember, last hearing also, the Supreme Court had very clearly said that you must stop this kind of stubble burning forthwith. There must be immediate steps taken. And over the last couple of days after the Supreme Court verdict, in the NGT, especially on Wednesday, the Punjab government has said, well, we have sent out ground teams, we sent out SHO, we sent out local administrative officials to take care of this. The questions are being asked, Pooja, but the bigger point here is, will they be answered? We're still waiting for the hearing as it is continuing in the Supreme Court. My colleague Kanu Sharda is inside the court. Right now, of course, it is the Delhi government which is in the crosshairs of the Supreme Court. The turn of the other NCR governments will come once they are done looking into the affidavit of the Delhi government. Back to you.
Just take us through the background of this hearing. When the Supreme Court had first taken cognizance of the matter, jumped in and said, what's happening? Why is no measure being taken by the government? We want immediate implementation of the measures of the rules, and we want results and the details of it by 10th November. Take us through how it was primarily, eventually, as it happens in this country, that the court had to get involved, the apex court at that, and that is when our government start to work.
Well, Pooja, if you really want to look into the background of this, this is not something that started 1 week ago or 10 days ago. This PIL on air pollution in Delhi has been pending in the Supreme Court since 1985. This is the PIL under which the government was forced to implement CNG buses. It was forced to implement the BS6 vehicle scheme. A number of orders have been passed by the Supreme Court, but for the last 6 years, since 2017, when the pollution levels in Delhi have gone beyond a certain threshold, every single year in October and in April, the Supreme Court as well as the National Green Tribunal invariably take up this hearing. And every single year, and I'm giving you examples from this farm fire issue. In 2018 and 19, the Supreme Court had passed clear orders asking the Punjab and Haryana governments as well as the Rajasthan government to ensure, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and UP governments, all 4 NCR states, to ensure that there is no parali burning. At that time, there were studies that were instituted. In 2020, in the middle of the lockdown, the Punjab and Haryana governments came back to the Supreme Court and said, well, thanks to the COVID lockdown, thanks to the economy becoming a mess, we don't have enough money to get the kind of harvesters and machines that are needed. Once again, now the court saying, you can't claim that you don't have the money, do it now.